Hi, welcome back. Jimiasworld is here. We are here and back with another video. I am here and I'm going to give you guys the 4 books I read in November. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for all the notifications of me and what I'm going to bring to this universe, and let's get into it. So going into November, I had this huge and massive November hopefuls list. I got the chance to get through 4 books. 2 of them are arcs. One of them is from an indie author. The other one is from a PR company. The first book I decided to get into is from the indie author who is right on Book Talk. Make sure you guys go check out my Book Talk. The link will be in the description. The book that I read from the indie author, her name is Renk Hawthorne. It is called Of Mountain and Seas. This book is about a universe that is filled with shifters and statics. One character out of this is a shifter and the other one is a static, and they are trying to navigate through this life and through this political world and trying to figure out how they can coexist and what's going to happen when things shift and change in that universe. One of the male main characters is trying to win the love back from his father, so he's trying to do whatever he can to get that love back because his father thinks he killed his mother. Okay, and the little boy believes he did, but it is a whole nother story when you get into these pages. All right, the girl, female main character in the story, she has a condition that her family has convinced her she has, so she has to take medication, come home, and she is very young, and she has to come home on lunch, and she has to take her medication, which means she does not have enough time to socialize or do things that she wants to do as a kid. She ends up finding out she has the shifter powers, and she makes the decision to either stay with her family or go to the school and learn how to be a shifter. When I tell you guys, this is by far one of the best arcs I have ever read. This is fantasy. It's based in California, and this book is so good. As soon as I was complete, I could not wait to let the author know and to even just like give a hint like, when is the second book gonna come? Because girl, you did that. Beautiful writing. It didn't even feel like it was a debut. It felt like a seasoned author in the game that has just finally dropped their content and wants the world to see it. I rated this book a 4-star. A couple things in this book had me kind of contorted and confused. Initially, when I opened it, I was kind of lost on how many characters, how the titles were going, and what was going to actually happen. That could be a part of me and my rushing complex that I have. Like, I need to know, like, okay, what's going on? What we doing? We getting in the swing of things, or we're about to, you know, like, when is it going to tie in together? It ties in together very beautifully, and I don't have anything bad to say. This book is phenomenal. I can't wait to read the second one. This book is supposed to drop in January, and I can't wait for you guys to check it out. It's going to be exciting. The second book I read is from a PR company that decided to give me the opportunity to read an early copy for them and review it. This book is called Stealing Time. This book is by Tilila, Klebenov, Jacobs, and Normen Birchboch. It is about a group of kids who are trying to make sure this jewel does not get stolen. One of the female main characters in this story is in 2020, the height of the pandemic, no cell phone service, internet's down, no one's outside. Literally the height of a pandemic. She finds a photo of this jewel, looks down and stares at it. When she looks up, she's pushed in time to 1980. It told me this will be a Back to the Future essence with a little bit of current day. And I was like, back to the what? Yeah, I can't wait to get into this. I finished it in 2 days. This book had so many different discrepancies for me. I was like really sad because I really believed it was going to be incredible. This book is a YA novel, and a couple things that really didn't grab me made me feel like it could have been better than what it was. A lot of the characters were getting mixed in. They're getting like different POVs kind of confused. And it was so much dialogue to the point where I didn't even know who was talking to who and why they were talking to each other. Like, it was insane. Some parts of the history in the book about the jewel and why all this is happening got thrown in the wrong like area for me, and I gave this a 2-star because it could have been contorted and just done very smoothly than it was. The third book I got into is a book that I didn't know I was going to get into. I am not a heavy romance reader, so I challenged myself this month and told myself I need to read one romance book before this year is over. And that book I decided to pick up was Dawn and Dusted by Lyla Sage. This book is about a female main character and a male main character. The female main character is a horseback rider. She has left her small town Meadowlark in Wyoming and went off to Denver to chase her dreams and be big in the horse circuit. Something tragic happens to her. She gets kicked off of a horse and she decides to come back home. And when she comes back home, in girly fashion, she doesn't want anyone to know what happened and why she's back. When she comes back, she goes to her best friend's house, and in best friend fashion, her best friend wants to go outside. Okay? So they go outside, and her best friend dresses her up, and she's like, dude, I don't want to be outside. I don't want to buy no hair. Period. The female main character has not been back home in 10 years. All right? 10 years. She is in the local lodge where they live. She catches the male main character's attention, who is now the owner of this bar / lodge. And it gets spicy and crazy and wild after that. He wants to be with her. But the catch is, this is his best friend's little sister. Yeah. You are getting to know me and my ideas of how I like to read stuff. Just know I love the tea. All right? This is the tea and I'm here for it. Period. This book was so good. It was so cute. It was a small town cowboy romance and I think I'm starting to become a cowgirl. All right? Hear me out. This was a shocker for me. Like how Lyla Sage wrote this book was so smooth and it felt so realistic. Like how she wrote out the characters and the way they thought, how they were trying to get together, but their thinking process on everything was like so realistic, and their response to it was like completely different to how they were thinking and connecting it. I loved it. It was a lot of mental health grabbing in here. It was a lot of found family. I feel like it wasn't enemies to lovers, but it was like play hard to get to lovers to me. I rated this book a 4-star, and that is really high for a person who doesn't read romance. That's great. The book didn't feel long. I ate this book up, and I can't wait to get into the rest of the series. I don't want to rush it because it's only 2 more books after this one, and I'm going to be mad if I don't get the 4th one. Lyla Sage. You're that girl. Keep doing you because you're winning. The last book I read in November is my homegirl, my bestie, and she delivered, of course. We have The Boyfriend by Frieda McFadden. This is about a girl who is looking for love in whatever place she can find it, okay? She is on a dating app called Cinch, and she is trying to just find someone to be with. Like, this is like, bruh. She ends up going on a date in the beginning of the story, and the date is not what she hoped it to be. The dude's taking her home, and she makes sure he does not go to her actual house. And bro's like, oh, let me go upstairs. Come on, like, I can't get a kiss. No. It's giving Creepazoid and Psycho. So she's like telling him no, and he's like literally forcing himself on her. And then this random guy just comes out of nowhere, out of thin air, and just like comes and like try to regulate. And she like, oh, who are you? Where did you come from? But thank you for saving me. And he just dips. She is so invested in trying to figure out who this guy is in the story. And she realizes he doesn't have any social media accounts. He's not on the app she's on. And where did he come from? As the book progresses, she has a best friend. And her best friend is telling her about this guy who's a doctor she's dating, Mr. Dr. Hottie. And she doesn't even know this guy's name, but she's like, oh, I guess she's happy, whatever. Out of nowhere, her friend ends up in her freaking apartment, and then it gets crazy. Who did it? Who is this guy she was referencing? And then it's like, dude, my best friend just died, but I still want a man, bro. Like, a lot of this book was crazy. A lot of it was burnt out in the most best way. Other parts of the book was like, okay, your best friend just died and you're still thinking about getting a man? And then there's like her mom in the story and how she's burnt, and like mystery again, trying to figure out who did it, what happened, how did this happen, where's the guy she was with? Is it this guy? Is it that person? Is it this person? It has two different POVs. It is starting off with the female main character. Then it goes to the past of the male main character in his early life in school. I really enjoyed this. This is a book that a lot of people feel like was formulaic or felt like it was just typical Frieda style. It wasn't nothing that was eye-grabbing or thought-provoking or didn't push them. For me, it was just what I expect from Frieda. Something to give me when I need it. Like, it is fast-paced, it's fun, it feels realistic, it's crazy, it's, again, twisty, and the ending... Girl, the ending of this book... The ending of this book literally gave me whiplash and made me like stop doing everything I was doing and had to finish it. My chest literally was hurting. And I was like, how does she get this past me, bro? Like, she always gets twists past me and I don't even bother to even try to understand it or figure out what it's supposed to be anymore. Like, I'm over it. I'm just going to let it rock and let it vibe out and just read it. I rated this book 5 stars. It was a 5-star for me because if it makes me feel something, it makes me want to continue to read these pages to where at the end, it literally puts me in shambles and literally blows my mind. It's a 5. Period. Make sure you guys comment below what you read in November, how many you completed, how you felt about them. Let me know everything and all things in the comments below. Again, if you are new, welcome. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. We will be right back to you on your scheduled program. Thanks.